Hello friends, I am going to talk about a social issue which is police harassment. Introduction. Police misconduct refers to inappropriate conduct and or illegal actions taken by police officers in connection with their official duties. Police misconduct can lead to a miscarriage of justice and sometimes involve discrimination and or illegal motives of segregation combined as obstruction of justice. In an effort to control police misconduct, there is an accelerating trend for civilian agencies to go beyond review, to engage directly in investigations, and to have much greater input into disciplinary decisions. In addition, individuals and groups are now filming police in an effort to force police to become accountable for their actions and for their inactions. With the proliferation of mobile devices capable of recording alleged misconduct, police misconduct, and abuse is now receiving publicity on social media and on websites including YouTube. In response, police often try to intimidate citizens to prevent them from using cameras. In other circumstances, police will illegally seize or delete evidence recorded by civilians, notwithstanding laws that make it a crime to destroy evidence of a crime being committed, irrespective of whether the crime is committed by civilians or by the police. Types of misconduct. There are many types of misconduct like coerced false confession, intimidation, false arrest, false imprisonment, falsification of evidence, spoliation of evidence, police perjury, witness tampering, police brutality, police corruption, racial profiling, unwarranted surveillance, unwarranted searches, and unwarranted seizure of property. Let's now look at some police harassments which were caught on tape.
A distressing case of police brutality reported from Bijnor in Uttar Pradesh. Police personnel caught on camera kicking, abusing an unconscious youth. Now, this youngster reportedly passed out after consuming alcohol. In an attempt to wake him up, the police first threw water on him. Then, when he didn't wake up, they kicked him around. They dragged him by his hair. When the boy still didn't respond, the police, instead of taking him to the hospital, they just abandoned him and moved away. And these images were caught on camera. This is extremely embarrassing for a police force that claims to be a police force of the 21st century, claiming to serve the people of Uttar Pradesh.
These kind of cases occur almost daily around the world.
Welcome back. Well, shocking visuals have come to light of a police officer brutally punching a woman in Florida, and this has been receiving severe criticism online. Footage that's been released by the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office in Florida shows the police officer repeatedly striking the woman after she attempts to kick him, while his colleagues stand by and watch the violence unfold. The Florida police officer was charged with battery and fired from his position after the video emerged of him repeatedly striking the woman as she stood handcuffed. The woman was reportedly arrested for trespassing in a bar. When she resisted the arrest, the police officer ruthlessly punched her.
There are ways that this could have been dealt with without striking her. He could have turned her around and held her in a transporting position that they are trained in, back over to the location to wait by the door. He could have stood there with her, but there was no need to strike her.
Let us now look at some injustice happening in our Indian prisons.
A special investigation by India Today uncovers what possibly are our own Indian mini Guantanamos. Operating obscurely in our country's prison system for years. vicious torture is inflicted on prisoners in a jail barely 30 kilometers from our national capital. The victims are no terror suspects. Their tormentors are no special agents. Rather, prisoners held for petty crimes, subject to diabolical treatment. Routinely in this jailhouse of Greater Noida, the Kasna prison.
The Prisons Act 1894 is one of the oldest piece of legislation in India dealing with the laws enacted in relation to prisons in India. The inspector in charge will be bound to carry out the functions to run the prison in a manner as directed by the state authorities. According to the statistical reports, 80% of the prisoners are victims are under trials who are kept in inhuman conditions where they have to face poor conditions, lack of proper medical facilities, and are subjected to torture by jail authorities. Of concern, 80% prisoners are under trials. Even though bail is granted, prisoners are not released. Lack of proper legal aid, lack of insufficient provision of medical aid to prisoners, careless and intensive attitude of jail authorities, harsh mental and physical torture, corruption and other malpractices. List of some recent police brutality cases in India. In 2009, 23rd July, Koiramband Market, Impal, Manipur police commandos killed an unarmed youth named Sanjit Mehtai in an alleged. In 2011, the police opened fire on protesters protesting against the Jitapur nuclear power plant and killed one of the protesters. In 2011, Forbearance firing was an act of state brutality in which 4 villagers were killed near Forbearance, a town in Bihar, India on 3rd June 2011. The 2015 Andhra shootout was an incident in the Seshasalam forest in Chittoor district, Andhra Pradesh, that killed 20 suspected woodcutters. The 2018 Sterlite protest firing was an incident in Tamil Nadu, Thuthukudi, where 13 unarmed protesters were killed by the Tamil Nadu police. Knowing your laws and rights can help you from being not harassed. So let me conclude with 15 laws and rights every Indian should be aware of. 1. If your cylinder explodes, you are entitled to Rs 40 lakh cover. Penalized for receiving gift? Yes, they can be bribes. Only female officers can escort women to the police station. The tax recovery officer can arrest and release you. No traffic violation laws for non-motorized vehicles. Women can lodge complaints through emails. Live-in relationships are not illegal. Political parties can solicit your vehicle during elections. If you have been fined once in the day, you may be excused after that. You don't have to pay the MRP. You can buy for less. If you aren't paid, file a complaint immediately. 3 months in jail for PDA. Head constables have limited prosecution power. A police officer is always on duty literally. If you have a son and you are looking to adopt another, well, you can't.